Razia was sitting, being upset under a fruit tree in the orchard. She saw a bird's nest in the tree. Maybe there were chicks in the nest. A snake was trying to reach the bird's nest. Razia saw this and prayed that the snake would not reach the bird's home. Then suddenly an amazing thing happened. A stone flew from Razia's back and landed on the snake's head. The snake fell to the ground. Razia became very happy about this. She looked back. Her future groom was looking at her and smiling. She smiled at him and was a little arrogant also. Arshad also understood her arrogance and tells her, I know I'm too late, but tell me, what will I do? I have come on foot. Dad took the horse with him. On hearing this, she went to Arshad and said, You were late, so I was angry. But since there was no horse, you should not have come. We would have met another day. Arshad then said, after a long time, I have come to meet with you today. If not today, I don't know when I will be able to meet you again. Razia and Arshad were cousins. From an early age, they used to come and go to each other's houses and play. Both of them lived in the hilly areas. Razia was very beautiful to look at. On the other hand, Arshad was no less. They both loved each other unconditionally. Their family knew about their love, so they were being engaged. Razia's house was on a hill, and Arshad's house was between two hills. Although the distance between their houses was not too much, the distance between each other's houses seemed to be much because of the mountains. Although it was difficult for them to come and go, Arshad used to meet Razia. He would come to visit Razia, sometimes with his father's horse, sometimes on foot. Today they sit under the tree in the garden, talking for a long time. Just then the tree suddenly started to move. They both looked at the tree in surprise. They got out of the garden very quickly. Then Arshad went away. But Razia felt as if someone was looking at her. Razia started walking fast towards her house. As soon as Razia entered her house, her mother said, Razia, it's almost evening, and where are you coming from now with your long open hair? You should not walk with your uncovered head like this, otherwise some jinn will try to overwhelm you. Listening to her mother's words, Razia said in her mind, Mom, your nephew can cross the mountain for me, and this jinn is nothing for him. Arshad will blow them away. Then suddenly the roof of the house moved in a strange way. It was as if the whole house was shaking. Both mother and daughter trembled with fear. After a while, everything became well, so they went to their room. As soon as Razia closed the door of her room, she felt as if someone was smiling at her, but there was no one in the room. She kept looking around in fear. She kept thinking, what is happening to her today? After a while, the door of the room was opening in such a way as if someone was slowly coming out of the room and closing the door. After that, no strange incident happened till morning. That's why they did not say anything to Razia's father. Razia used to come to the garden after Asr prayer every day. And even today, she was sitting in the garden watching the bird's nest. Suddenly, the sound of a horse running next to the garden could be heard. When Razia saw Arshad coming on horseback, it was as if she could not believe her eyes. He was sitting on a white horse, looking at Razia and laughing. Razia is surprised. She ran to Arshad. Arshad, you? Arshad got down from his horse and said, Why, I can't come? What is there to be surprised about? Then Razia got a very nice scent, due to which she was slowly attracted to Arshad. Razia was surprised and said, Why not? You can come every day if you want, but it can disrupt your studies. I have heard that advocacy is very difficult. Arshad then says, No problem, just the last test is yet to be given. Then Arshad stopped saying half of his words. Razia was ashamed to understand the rest. Then Razia looked at the horse and said, Well, tell me, how could you get such a beautiful horse? It was given to my father by a friend, said Arshad. Then Arshad added, Razia, let's turn around. Saying this, Arshad sat in front of the horse and put Razia behind him. As soon as Arshad told the horse to go, the horse started running. Razia seemed like the horse was flying in the air. They visited many mountains before Maghrib prayer. Razia was having a lots of fun. Shortly before the Maghrib azan, Arshad dropped her off in front of her house. Then Arshad left. Razia also said goodbye to him and left for home. This goes on for some time. Arshad used to bring horses after Asr, and the two of them used to walk on the hills and rivers every day. Razia was now waiting for Arshad every day. One evening, Arshad appeared with his horse. Today, Arshad says, "Come on, today I will take you to that mountain standing on top where you can see all the mountains, sky and wind." Arshad pulls Razia to him and shows her the snow-covered hill. Razia was a little embarrassed by this behavior of Arshad because Arshad never had come so close to her, but today he was trying to get a little closer to Razia. Then they went for a walk in the mountains. After some time, Razia returned home. Razia was surprised to see her mother standing at the door. "Where have you been, Razia?" "Today Arshad and his family came to fix the wedding date, but we could not find you anywhere." Razia is surprised to hear about her mother. How is that possible? Arshad was with her, but he was at home again. At that time, Razia's father said, "Razia's mom, your daughter's outings have increased a lot. Tell her to do less. Otherwise, I will make her captive in her room." Razia could not think of anything. She fell down unconscious. Seeing Razia, her father became very tense. Her father took her in his arms and laid her on the bed, and he called her and splashed water on her face. When Razia regained consciousness, she looked out the window. She saw an owl. She became silent as soon as she looked into the owl's eyes. Then the owl flew away. Suddenly a small light hit Razia in the blink of an eye, and Razia shuddered. Then her eyes became like fire. When Razia's father rushed to Razia, Razia pushed him so hard that he flew into the air and fell down to the wall. Everyone is surprised to see this. How could she push her strong father like that? Razia's mother left Razia and went to her husband. She helped him get up. They both got up and looked at Razia. Razia's face was getting very scary. Her parents can understand this situation, so Razia's father dragged his wife out of the room. As soon as the two of them left the room, the door of the room closed by itself. Razia's father said, "Sit here. I'm going to fetch Maulana Sahib right now." Her mother understood something at that time. Razia's father brought Maulana Sahib with him. Maulana Sahib was endowed with spiritual power. As soon as he entered the room, he felt the presence of a shadow in that room. Maulana Sahib looked at the door of Razia's room and said, "Quickly bring a glass of water." Razia's father quickly brought water in a glass. Maulana Sahib took the glass of water in front of the door of Razia's room and recited something. Then suddenly the door opened. Razia then stood with her head bowed. She was looking at Maulana Sahib with angry eyes. Gradually she came and stood in front of Maulana Sahib. "Sit in front," said Maulana Sahib. Razia sat down in front of him without saying anything, but her face was turning red with anger. Maulana Sahib puts his hand on the glass and asked, "Who are you?" Razia shuddered as soon as he put her hand on the glass. Razia said in a heavy voice, "My name is Sartaj." A voice comes from inside Razia. Maulana Sahib said, "Why are you bothering this kid?" "I'm not bothering, we love each other." Hearing this, Maulana Sahib said, "It can't be. You are another creature and she is human. Leave her alone. You will never come near the girl again." "Never. I love her so much," said the Jinn from inside Razia. Maulana Sahib stopped his words and said, "I'm telling you to leave or..." Then Maulana Sahib threw the water taken from the glass towards Razia. This made him scream in pain. Then the Jinn said, "I'm leaving now, but I will never leave this girl." Razia then fainted. Maulana Sahib said, "Now the Jinn is gone, but he can come back later. Put this amulet around the girl's neck and remember, it should not come off her neck." Then Maulana Sahib left. Nothing else happened with Razia for several days. Razia's wedding date came very close. After that incident, Razia was allowed to leave the house much less. After a long time, Razia came out of the house and went to the garden. Arshad also came there to meet Razia that day. Razia went to Arshad. Arshad said, "Come with me to that pool. I want to show you something." Arshad points to a pool built on a canal between two hills. Razia forbade it at first, but in the end, Razia agreed with him. Slowly they reached the pool made of rope and bamboo. Then suddenly a voice was heard. The pool collapsed right where Razia stood. Razia started falling into the canal water. She kept screaming loudly. Just then a big bird turned into a shadow and started moving towards Razia. When the bird came in front of Razia, it disappeared. Razia's screams mingled in the canal. On the other hand, as soon as the pool was broken, Arshad started hanging with the help of rope. He reached the top with great difficulty. Then he looked at the canal, but he could not see Razia anywhere and started screaming like crazy. Razia's father and the people of the slum heard the noise and left the house. They realize someone has fallen into the canal. When Razia's father sees Arshad, he asks him, "Who are you looking for, Arshad? Who has fallen into the canal?" "Uncle, Razia actually fell into the canal from the top of the pool," Arshad answered, crying. Hearing his words, Razia's father kept looking for Razia here and there like crazy. The people of the whole slum scattered here and there in the canal, but they never found Razia. "Arshad, are you sure Razia had fallen from above?" An old man asked Arshad. "Yes, she fell in front of me. I brought her to the pool, but the bridge broke. I myself have survived a lot of hardships, and you can see the broken pool yourself." Then Arshad looked at the pool and felt a big push. The pool was in its proper place. The man said, "Come on guys, I think Razia's future groom is intoxicated." Everyone says that the pool is in good condition. They all left, but Arshad wonders, how did the pool get well right now? It was broken in front of his eyes, from which Razia fell. Arshad put his hand on Razia's father's shoulder and said, "Uncle, I think you will believe me." Razia's father believed Arshad because he saw the amulet given to Razia by Maulana Sahib hanging on a branch of a tree. Razia's father took Arshad home. When he reached home, Razia's mother heard of Razia's disappearance. According to Arshad, then she broke down in tears. After leaving Arshad with Razia's mother, Razia's father quickly went to Maulana Sahib. Then Razia's father told all the incidents that happened to his daughter to Maulana Sahib. Maulana Sahib said, "I will pray tonight, then I will go to your house and tell you what has happened." Then Razia's father returned home. Razia's mother told Arshad about everything has happened to Razia. Razia's father said, "Son, I think Razia was taken away by the Jinn. I found Razia's amulet in the candle with which I went to Maulana Sahib. He took the amulet and told me that everything will be known in the morning." The whole night passed like this. Arshad was surprised to hear about Jinn. In the morning, Arshad's family also came to Razia's house. They were very worried when they heard everything. Then Maulana Sahib came to their house and went straight to Razia's room. He gets a bird's feather in Razia's room. Then Maulana Sahib said, "I prayed while taking the amulet in front of me, but I did not understand anything. So I finally came home. I tried to find something. I found a bird's feather, and from that the smell of that crazy Jinn is coming. Now I have to do something more. Then something will be known." Then Maulana Sahib stayed in Razia's room. Others came out of that room. It continued for a long time. Some time before Zohar, a big owl suddenly came and sat at the door of the house. It was terrible to see. The owl was bigger than the other owls. Just then the door of the room slowly opened. The owl continued to move towards the door. It went in front of Maulana Sahib and bowed its head. Arshad, his father and his uncle slowly entered the room. Then Maulana Sahib opened his eyes. "You have shown so much courage. I forbid you to do anything." Saying this, Maulana Sahib started scolding him for a long time. The owl was silent, leaning its head forward. "Where is the girl?" Maulana Sahib asked in an angry voice, but it does not answer. "I think you are not going to say okay in an easy way." Maulana Sahib took out a whip from his bag and the owl said in a human voice, Maulana Sahib, she is dead. Hearing this, Maulana Sahib and Razia's family were shocked. Why did she die? How did she die? The owl said, I had a friend who grabbed the girl as she fell from the pool, and Razia's heartbeat stopped for fear. I could not save her. Hearing this, the wind of mourning began to blow in the house. The Maulana Sahib told the Jinn to show Razia's grave, which was under a tree a little away from the pool. Maulana Sahib got very angry over the Jinn, and he started beating the Jinn with that whip. Then Maulana Sahib set the Jinn on fire. Then they went to the grave with Maulana Sahib and saw that there was actually a grave there. There were tears in their eyes and everyone prayed for Razia.